Welcome back to the Exchange Server 2016 Transport Services course. We're now in Module 5 where we're going to talk about plan your antivirus solution. Exchange Server can help you protect your system from malware. It's got built-in protection, but you can also use third-party antivirus products and install that in Exchange so that it protects you from antivirus or from viruses in your organization. So it's really important to have this because this could be a source of lots of problems in your environment if you don't protect your system against viruses. So in this module, we're going to basically look at how do you plan your antivirus solution and how do you also look at some of the features that's in the Exchange 2016 product. So the first thing that we need to highlight here is when we plan an antivirus solution, we have to make sure that you're using a version that is compliant with Exchange Server 2016. If you have a previous version of any type of antivirus, it's not guaranteed that it runs on Exchange Server 2016. It's one of those things where you can't assume. You have to make sure that this product is compatible and certified, or whatever the tag is they use on the box for Exchange Server 2016. You have to make sure that it works well. And then you have to also determine what features of that antivirus software are you going to implement in your system.
Ideally, it's going to have anti-spam features as well as antivirus features.
And most of the time, there's companies that sell you a bundled solution that not just protects you from viruses, but it also protects you from spam and so on as well, because it's got the mechanisms in it to take spam messages as well as the virus signature files and so on.
Right. So folks have a number of different options to pursue this. They can either use the built-in anti-malware features that are available in Exchange 2016, plus anti-spam, which we'll talk about in the next module. They can use a cloud-based solution like Exchange Online Protection. They could use a corporate antivirus solution that they're already have it deployed, in which case if they do that, then they don't want to be running the built-in anti-malware in Exchange 2016 as well. And then they might want to employ some sort of SMTP gateway where they're protecting from antivirus in a perimeter network.
Yeah, so this is one of those concepts again where we want to tell people that you have to cover all your bases. When you implement antivirus solutions, you have to think about desktops. Somebody can easily download a virus from the internet, save it on his desktop, and then attach that virus in an email and send it to somebody. So you have to implement an antivirus solution on the desktop itself. You also have to think about the Exchange servers, so that the Exchange servers runs a application-aware antivirus, and that could be the built-in protection or a third-party solution, so it scans all the messages as it goes through the transport queues to make sure there's no viruses in there. You may have to run an antivirus on that server itself, the Exchange server, so a corporate antivirus that protects that system. So that's another thing that you have to protect to make sure that your Exchange server, this host operating system, is protected for viruses as well. And then where are these messages originating? From the internet. On the internet you have options like Exchange Online Protection. So the way you set that up is you, once you've purchased that service, you point your MX records to Exchange Online Protection, and they scan all the emails and make sure that there's no viruses in there, and they only send you the clean stuff. And there's other benefits to Exchange Online Protection as well. It provides you some business connectivity. Maybe if your internet link goes down, they will queue messages for you, and then once your messages is up and running again, it comes in. So you don't need to worry about having your link up all the time. And then there's other solutions as well. SMTP gateways that you can deploy in your perimeter network that does scanning as well. They usually do anti-spam as well. So there's many solutions, and in some way, you don't want to make it too complex, but also this is viruses, so you want to make sure that you are protected. You want to do everything possible so that there's no weak surface area where they can attack you. So you have to protect your servers, you have to protect your clients, you also have to protect your internet connection. So there's many places that you can implement antivirus protection to do this. So in terms of some other features that's also available in Exchange Online Protection, we have antivirus features that is built into Exchange Server. So once you have that in Exchange, that is available to you to protect you against all viruses and so on, and it needs to update those files. So it's important that you always update antivirus signatures. Antivirus becomes completely useless if you don't update it. You know, nobody is sending viruses around that was in the wild in 1985. Those viruses are dead. They are now museum pieces. You want your antiviruses to be up to date so that it can detect the latest or the viruses that's out there in the wild. Exchange Online Protection uses multiple engines to detect it, so it's very clever that it will scan using one engine, and if it found the virus, it will then block that. But if it didn't find a virus, it will send it to another engine, and another engine might detect it. So they have multiple engines that they use to detect those viruses.
And then there's different actions it can take. It can delete the entire message, including attachments. It can delete all attachments and send the default alert text to an administrator. It can delete all the attachments and send a custom alert text that you want to be customized.
Yeah.
Or it might just delete everything and just send you a notification to the admin and the sender of the email.
Yeah, and the thing with viruses is you don't want the viruses to come in. So you want to delete the virus and block that virus. So then you may just want to then decide how you want to deal with that incident. Do you want to alert the user? Sometimes I think that it's unnecessary to tell the user that, hey, you got a message that had a virus. You know, then they're going to phone help desk and say, you know, I was expecting a mail from my friend and, you know, he does some dodgy things maybe, but I want that email. Can you make a plan? So I think it's best not to tell your users when they receive the message. But in some organizations, you may want to have an audit log, or you may have users that you can trust that's not going to cause extra issues for you. So you can then alert them to tell them that this message did contain a virus. So depending on your requirements, you have to implement those features.
So that said, what are some best practices for implementing antivirus protection?
Yeah, so some of the things that we should do is like I said, you should always keep your antiviruses up to date. You should always make sure that the virus signatures are up to date. And then when you receive messages and they do contain viruses, you have to block those messages, and you have to not accept if you can. So block them as early as possible. This is why a solution like Exchange Online Protection is so elegant, because it's not even using bandwidth that you purchased to send you a virus which you're going to block. It's already blocked on the internet. So it saved you bandwidth. It's got this nice side benefit as well.
Sometimes that's not enough, though, and you need to, another best practice is monitoring those antivirus reports.
Yep.
And staying informed on the latest threats that are out there of internet security and malware threats. Exchange Online Protection is also great. It has an add-on service these days. It used to be called Exchange Online Advanced Threat Protection. The new name for it is Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, and it takes antivirus or protection against antivirus threats to a new level. It has features called safe links, where it protects users against phishing attacks, where the emails may contain links to malicious websites. It has a feature called safe attachments. So any message is scanned. There's a sandboxing environment where the attachment is put in what's called a detonation chamber. And in the meantime, there's a new feature called dynamic delivery, where the message is sent to the user, notifying them that there was an attachment that is suspicious where we're looking at it right now, and in the meantime it's scanned in the background. If it's safe, it's then forwarded to the user. If it's not safe, then it's blocked.
Yep.
And then finally, it also includes some advanced reporting options so that administrators can identify those users who are being attacked and also track those websites from the malicious URLs.
Yeah, I really love that advanced threat protection of the safe links, because that is a way that a lot of bad people are using right now. They send you a mail that looks like it's coming from your bank, and it asks you to verify your details, and you click on a link that takes you to a website that looks like your bank website, and then you enter all your identity information and your online banking password. They may even have a proxy system where they go and validate this information in the background and give you back your accounting information. So it can really look legit if you use those systems and if you become a victim of those hacks. And this SafeLink system would actually, what it would do is it will replace those links in the emails that you receive with a SafeLink. And if you click on that SafeLink, it goes to the Microsoft service, which then ensures in the background, they've already ensured that this is a good link, and it will then redirect you to that site. And if it's not, it will tell you that you've clicked on a bad link. And so it takes away some of the requirements. We've been telling a lot of our users that you should never click on a link inside of an email that you don't trust. If you click on a mail, then you might become a victim of a hack like that. But it protects you from people accidentally clicking on those links. So it's a really cool feature. I love it. So let's show you a couple of features that's available in Exchange that you can configure with Exchange in terms of antivirus functionality. So in here, I have my Exchange system, and I have a section here called Protection, and here's the malware filter that is built into Exchange that you can use and configure. So some of the settings that is available to you, I'll just highlight them. If Exchange detects a malware response, and because I'm modifying the default one, this is not available for me to change, but I can change this to say delete the entire message, or only delete the attachment, or delete the attachment and add a custom alert text to the message. I can also decide who I'm going to notify. Am I going to notify internal senders? So if somebody internally in my organization is sending viruses, I may want to notify him to tell him that you are sending a virus, don't do that. Or I may want to notify the external senders. Lots of companies would notify internal senders, but they wouldn't notify external senders because 9 out of 10 times the external sender is a bad guy, and telling a bad guy that he's a bad guy is not gonna, yeah, it's a waste of time. Then you can go and also notify the administrator. You can say the administrator that there was an undelivered message from internal messages, and you specify the administrator email address, or you can notify administrator about undelivered message from external senders. And then you can also add custom notifications to say, add this custom text from this person to this address to tell him that there was a message that couldn't be delivered because it contained a malware system. And this is where you specify the message to internal senders and also a message to external senders. So if you want to send a different message to your external senders, you can do that. So a really basic configuration that's available in for your malware filter in Exchange Server 2016. But if you make this part of a bigger story, so if you make this part of an antivirus desktop strategy, a server strategy, you have Exchange Online Protection, then this will become part of your overall message protection for malware, and you can have really good protection for your Exchange servers. So that concludes our module on Exchange, malware protection, antivirus, and always make sure that you have these features enabled and that your antivirus is up to date. Otherwise, it's useless. So with that, come back and see our next module on anti-spam.